as a government agency puts Communist Party offices in businesses in China.
So what you're saying is, if this were a government agency, then it would be similar to having a government agency have an office in your company. If they say, what he's saying is, if these things were alike, they would be a hella similar.
The reality is a non-theistic religion is now putting itself in all of our businesses.
He hasn't explained why it's a cult, but obviously between right-wingers being pissed off about equal rights and employment non-discrimination being a non-theistic religious cult conspiracy. I mean, obviously you gotta go with employment non-discrimination being a non-theistic religious cult conspiracy. I mean, that's just Occam's razor. La registrazione. Okay. Got some new material here. Bud Light pledges $200,000 to LGBTQ group. They're destroying their brand on purpose. Chick-Fil-A goes woke! And James O'Keefe, he's the guy who makes fake videos. And some people may remember that when the J20 protesters a few years ago were facing 60 years in prison just for having protested the inauguration in 2016. At one point in their desperation, as their case was just completely falling apart, the prosecution announced that they were going to try to get some footage from Project Veritas. The people whose entire thing is they make fake videos. They're fake video footage. Yeah. Here we go. I think I want to hear about how Chick-Fil-A goes woke. This is a nice short one, too. We might be able to get a few in here. Okay,
From
it
News
is the
Channel
Doomer meme personified.
On your side. Chick-fil-A's DEI leader sparks calls for boycott. That's right. Chick-fil-A has hired a...
Chick-fil-A restaurants have long been recognized as a place where people know they will be treated well. Well, some people anyway.
Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer, VP, named Eric McReynolds, says Chick-fil-A restaurants have long been recognized as a place where people know they will be treated well. Modeling care for others starts in the restaurant, and we are committed.
Yeah, right.
To ensuring mutual respect, understanding, and dignity everywhere we do business. These tenets are good business practice and crucial for fulfilling our corporate purpose, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, definitely very blah, blah, blah. When is he going to get into his bullshit?
They then go on to list a whole bunch of garbage.
Oh, well, yes. I mean, it's...
business practice and crucial for fulfilling our corporate purpose, blah, blah.
Maybe actually
blah.
See what they list. Okay, when we combine our unique backgrounds and experiences with a culture of belonging, yes, okay. Yeah, culture of belonging. What the fuck does that shit even mean?
Go on to list a whole bunch of garbage and
Phoenix.
People and stuff like that. And at the bottom, they say that they have a commitment.
You need some place for it. It seems like you're bearing quite a load.
To DEI.
Look, I'm from Georgia, which is where Chick-fil-A is based out of and literally was formed and founded.
Well, okay, and I give a shit why. Okay, first of all, who is this dickhead?
If there's...
Wait, ultra-right beer? That is a thing that somebody actually paid... It's probably literally Bud Light.
If there's a long-term boycott of Chick-fil-A, then...
You mean like the long-term boycott of Chick-fil-A that has already existed because of their homophobic shit? that they are now, they've like, I mean, I'm guessing the reason they've decided to do this and the reason that the right-wing bullshitosphere has suddenly decided to get angry about this is, you know, it's Pride Month and they would like, it would be nice if people who, like, give a shit about LGBT people, which is most people, let's remember, actually, who at the very least don't want to think of themselves as being homophobic or transphobic. They don't want to think of themselves that way. That doesn't mean that they necessarily succeed at not being it. They're trying to get people back in there, queer people and allies. But I haven't seen any sign that they've actually, so it's kind of funny to hear them talking about a boycott as if that would be some new thing in the case of Chick-fil-A.
Conservatives want everything, because I don't know that you're going to pull that one off, because there's a lot of people that are going to fight back on that.
Who is this fucking Ken doll anyway?
I say boycott Chick-fil-A.
I'm not saying whether.
But wait, you're just going to boycott them because of... I mean, okay, because I haven't even seen any evidence that they've stopped doing the homophobic shit. So if these chuds are going to call for a boycott of a company that, as far as I know, is still homophobic as fuck, go on. I mean, let's do it.
Whether you do or not, I'm saying if it actually is successful, I will be very impressed, because that's going to be I could not imagine a more difficult company to talk conservative moms into boycotting.
Well, yes, because specifically they are very open. They have very openly right-wing politics
In my home state of Georgia.
You think even if you're showing them this,
they will overlook a lot.
Well, because it doesn't actually mean anything. Like, the reason he skipped over all of that is that there is literally nothing that you could possibly use to stoke outrage, because it's just boilerplate.
And I think a lot of those moms don't, when you just say DEI, like, look, they're taking their kids.
Nobody gives a shit. They hear DEI, they probably think that you meant DUI.
The 14 different practices and running around all over the place, and you're trying to say DEI this, and like, I don't know. I'm just getting my kids nuggets with a pleasant person that's nice to me. Well, I get what you're saying with the argument for it. I just don't know that it will be successful.
Yeah, so
it's easier to villainize Bud Light. Sorry.
No.
Which is already, I mean, do they have a dartboard that they throw to decide which fucking brand that actually gives huge amounts of money to right-wing causes and shit they're going to pretend to be angry about? This is the guy who doesn't want to be the feminist in the room.
Chick-fil-A.
I would agree, but this is also part of why this is so disappointing to me. Chick-fil-A has sort of had a bit of wokeness creeping into it over the years. And
I mean, at some point, these people are going to start accusing the Holocaust Memorial Museum of being woke because they say Hitler is bad.
In 2020, during the BLM riots, I believe that...
It is so fucking easy. I mean, you don't have to do anything at this point for them to start calling you woke.
The founder was supporting BLM. Don't quote me on that. It might have either been the founder.
Yeah, that sounds like bullshit, actually. I'm fairly certain that's bullshit. I do not see the founders supporting BLM.
Or the CEO. But there have been a number of issues there.
In fact, if that were true, I would have heard of it, because these motherfuckers would have done a video on it pretending to be pissed off, and you'd have the quartering, that fucking, earwig. He would be getting pissed off about it. Fucking high-pitched Ben Shapiro they'd all be getting pissed off about it, and we'd all have had a laugh about the idea that fucking Chick-fil-A is supporting the movement against police terror.
It's a shame, because I was very proud to support Chick-fil-A and what they were doing for quite a while, and
what they were doing being what? I mean, apart from just some very ordinary chicken. I've literally in my life never eaten at a Chick-fil-A, I should note. Not a political thing, not a boycott or anything. It's just that usually in the places where there's a Chick-fil-A, There's also a Sparrow, and historically Sparrow is where I go. So I've just never fucking eaten there. But, like, these guys just, like, they're proud of what Chick-fil-A's been, what, just being homophobic.
I thought the left's reaction to them was very fascinating and very telling, because the left...
Why was it fascinating or telling? Why would you be surprised in the least bit that people who are against homophobia would dislike a company that has decided to be openly homophobic?
Said that Chick-fil-A was evil. And why was Chick-fil-A evil?
Oh, okay, let's hear it. Because I know this one. It's because they were being openly homophobic and just assholes.
Well, because one of the owning members or CEOs or higher-ups didn't spend the company's money, but spent his own money donating to an organization that was not pro-LGBTQ. That was.
Okay, wait a second. Now I have to refresh my memory. What fucking organization? Oh, okay, yeah. Not just not pro-LGBT, actively anti-LGBT, and you're like surprised that people who are supporters of LGBT rights would object to this. Why exactly?
Spent his own money donating to an organization that was not pro-LGBTQ. That was in favor of preserving marriage.
It was a church camp or something.
In favor of preserving marriage. Like, how exactly is marriage not preserved when more people can get married? I mean, I'm not even a big fan of the institution myself, but it's fascinating to still hear that claim being made when we've had same-sex marriage in the U.S. for quite some time now. As far as I can tell, hetero marriage has not suffered from it, because people did not, it's not mandatory.
Yeah, and people lost their minds over this.
Yeah.
Now think about this for a moment.
People lost their minds over the fact that Chick-fil-A's money, the money that you spend at Chick-fil-A is being used to support these homophobic assholes, as opposed to right-wingers like these guys who are totally reasonable. See, they totally lose their shit when Bud Light, who donate most of their money that they donate to people that they have no objection to, put a rainbow on something. And, because they're the even-keeled people, they're the adults in the room, we all know that. So, of course, they go into fucking supermarkets and shoot up stands, displays of the wrong beer. Like, they're gonna talk about people losing their shit.
Chick-fil-A is known to not only be one of the most profitable fast food chains per franchise,
Who cares?
but they're also known to be one of the best franchises in terms of how they treat their employees. They pay them decently, especially as far as fast food restaurants go.
Well, as decently as far as fast food restaurants go isn't great. What do Chick-fil-A workers make? Okay. In Ohio, average Chick-fil-A hourly pay ranges from approximately $10.51 an hour for a food service worker to $18.44 an hour for an operations manager, which is to say that if you are whatever the hell an operations manager is, and I'm guessing that is much less prestigious than it sounds, because they always do this, if you get promoted however many times it takes to go from food service worker to operations manager, you can almost make rent. So yeah, that's wow, that's amazing. I am overwhelmed by this level of decency.
And they ensure to give all of them one single day off every single week.
Oh, fuck you! One single day off every single week. When we won the weekend, we got 2 days off every single week. That was how the weekend was supposed to work. You're saying that we should be applauding them because they give people half a weekend?
Where they're not going to try to profit off of them. They're going to give them a day to relax and be there for their family.
Wait, is that okay? But is that a paid day off? Chick-fil-A time off for workers. Okay, you get vacation time if you are in the management and leadership team. Up to 80 hours a year, and that's okay. And if you make it to their management and leadership team, 80 hours a year in vacation pay. That's not even a week. I mean, okay, no, wait a second. In terms of, in terms of working hours, that is 2 weeks. The situation for the ordinary workers. Typically 0 to 10 days off a year, with 56% of employees expected to be work-free while out of office. Okay, Chick-fil-A PTO, what do you get? Okay, they do get paid time off, which is not something to fucking brag about. That is, in like normal countries, in decent places, that is just a basic thing that you get. In fact, it is required by law. And these people are bragging out. And I still haven't found, like, 0 to 10 days of PTO. So, which means, some of the people are getting none. I could not find an actual concrete figure that showed which job title gets which, PTO package. Anything like that. And their own numbers say 0 to 10, which means, for a lot of people, so I'm guessing this 1 day off a week, half a weekend is not paid.
Even if it means they're not selling to their customers that day.
That's what a day off is. You're usually not selling to customers on a day off, or it wouldn't be a day off.
Worst thing the left should have been able to say about Chick-fil-A is, well, it's morally complicated, because they should have
But it's not morally complicated.
Appreciated the fact that they treated their...
It's morally complicated when it comes to, like, capitalist businesses that tend to be on side on at least a few important things. Then that's morally complicated because it's still exploitation. It's still capitalist exploitation. The workers are still getting screwed over for the benefit of the bosses, but at least they're, like, not as horrible politically as other places. That's morally complicated. A place where the best thing you can say about how they treat workers is that you might get half a weekend unpaid, and also donates to organizations that oppose human rights for LGBT people. Yeah, that's not morally complicated. They just suck shit.
Their workers well, but they don't, because they don't care about workers.
They don't treat their workers well, though. Fucking $18 an hour is what you get as an operations manager. $18 an hour will not actually cover your cost of living pretty much anywhere in the United States these days. And that's $8 more than most of the people who work there get.
Because they care about their sick, perverse sexual agenda. And
we're talking...
and anyone who opposes it, even with just a whisper, has to be
This guy is very mask off.
Absolutely destroyed. And I remember the Burger King released an advertisement.
Okay. Sick, perverse sexual agenda. Like, could you give me an example of what one of the things that this agenda includes?
Burger King.
I'm contractually required to do this. Burger King was mentioned. Burger King. 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 Bur
during Pride Month about 2 years ago, where they said they were releasing their own chicken sandwich, and their chicken sandwich was in favor of LGBTQ rights, and you could get it on Sunday. So in the same breath, they were mocking Chick-fil-A for being anti-LGBTQ and mocking them for giving their workers 1 day off of work.
He's so fucking pogged by the fact that Chick-fil-A workers get half a weekend unpaid. He is so fucking pogged by that.
Burger King should be ashamed for the way they treat their workers.
It's not.
Well, yeah, they should all be ashamed for the way they treat their workers. There's a reason. I mean, I love how he's talking about how great it is to be working at this fast food joint as a person who clearly has decided that there are better things for him to be doing than working at some fast food joint. Clearly, if it was such a great place to work, yeah, maybe he'd be working there.
Not just a sexual agenda. It is an
sexual agenda.
It is an all-around cultural revolution.
Do you know what? He just uses terms, and he has no idea what any of them mean. Oh, hello, Toriel Dreamer. Welcome, welcome. Yes, he's worried that Burger King and Dairy Queen are going to get it on in front of Carl's. I think that's exactly what he's worried about. Yes, the sexual agenda. Like, give me an example. One of these guys needs to give us an example of the sexual agenda, the cultural revolution.
Yeah, but I think it starts with that. I think that's a huge part of it.
It starts with what? It starts with not wanting to patronize a fast food restaurant that donates to reactionaries who want to deny human rights to LGBT people. Like, say what the thing is that it starts with. Dude who freaked out over the fact that fucking Bud Light put a rainbow on their beer cans, despite the fact that they actually mostly donate to people that are totally in line with these chuds.
I think it's just absolutely obvious what this is.
Oh yes, tell us, Tim.
Like, we talked about this before, but DEI, literally is the Latin singular for God.
No, it isn't the Latin singular for God. It is the Latin plural for God. Or it is the genitive singular. I'll give him that. But
these people are creating offices of God, but it's not.
What offices of God? Like, I was not going to think that we were going. I never would have guessed that this is where he was going to take this.
It's a simulacrum. Someone commented that just a moment ago, that Dylan Levine is a simulacrum, not the words in my mind.
It's a simulacrum of what exactly? What? Okay, so the Office of Diversity, Equality and Inclusion is a simulacrum of God? Is that what the idea here is? Like, what? Do you think they're creating little sort of mini universes? Wait, like, where is this? What the hell am I hearing here?
It is a false image of religion that is being created to substitute.
What do you mean, a false image of religion? It doesn't claim to be an image of religion.
For people, and they are marching in lockstep like deranged psychopaths.
That's all. I think both are true.
Cultural.
Okay, that both what? Dude here, the guy who isn't the feminist in the room, he hasn't actually explained a single thing about what he's saying is so bad about not wanting, except that they do let their workers have half a weekend unpaid.
The son, Dan Cathy Jr., is not his father. And if I had to make a prediction and bet all...
Wait, are we going to have some sort of trinity of Chick-fil-A owners? Is that where this is fucking going? Granted, a lot of the fucking right-wing chud set are anti-Catholic. Like, old school right-wingers actually really are often anti-Catholic. I mean, the KKK had an it's traditionally anti-Catholic. I think they decided to just focus on white supremacism, although mostly they seem to focus on shooting each other in recent years. And I mean, of all the arcs for the KKK to go on, I'm kind of okay with that one if they could just keep shooting each other and leaving everybody else alone.
All the beer in the world on it. I would say that Dan Cathy Jr. is going to cage to the left.
Dan Cathy Jr. Who's that?
Yeah. The son, and maybe the second junior or whatever.
Of the owner.
Well, who's the Holy Ghost of Chick-fil-A? Since we're apparently making a simulacrum, I'd love to hear Tim explain what a simulacrum is. Who's the Holy Ghost of Chick-fil-A then?
Of Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, Truett Cathy's the founder, and then I guess.
Oh, I see. Dan Cathy is the chairman.
Is he
currently?
Right, but is he a junior?
I don't.
Who gives a shit? Like, what? How did?
I disagree with you. I think Chick-fil-A.
Dick, do you disagree with what? That there's a father and a founder, and I don't even. What the hell are they even talking about? What's he disagreeing with?
It will be one of the easier things to boycott.
No, I'm saying okay.
Oh wait, okay. Now he's come around to saying that it'll be easy to.
Okay, I'll bet you money on that one. I'm just they're not a public company. They're not a public company,
which means it's easier to pressure.
No, you can't go after their stock.
But see, the thing about Chick-fil-A is that they already have the disadvantage of being the Christian company when it comes to the issue with the left.
In nomine patri et filling et specialis saucy, amen. It's nice to have you here, Abby.
So the left is targeting them very heavily and ignoring all these other companies that have done anything remotely similar. I think one of the funny things about the Chick-fil-A boycotts from the left.
Well, no. Okay, go back, Tim. If they're companies that we're missing that we also ought to be putting some pressure on, tell us more of them. I want to hear more of these companies that we're apparently missing.
Left was that other companies had made similar donations, but nobody cared. It's because Chick-fil-A was overtly Christian.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A, my understanding, well, they're trying to get into more urban markets, but because Chick-fil-A is so pronounced, conservatives have identify with it.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why you're now freaking out. Not because they've actually changed their position on anything, but because they've done a thing that corporations do pretty much. I mean, it's just a normal piece of corporate bullshit.
And are now going to be, in my opinion, much more offended by it. And you mentioned suburban moms. Dad might be like, I go to Popeyes. That's all it takes. All it takes is for the husband or the dad to be like, just go to Popeyes, honey. It's across the street.
What? See, women are powerless. Powerless, I tell you. When men express a chicken shop preference in our presence, we simply must obey at that point. Must go to Popeyes. These are not the wings I'm looking for.
The thing
I get it, but I'm from Georgia, and look, I get the understanding. Like
that's like his only thing is that he's from Georgia and he looks like a Ken doll.
You should all this kind of stuff, but go to a Chick-fil-A in suburbia Georgia right now, and you're not going to see a lot of dads in there. You're going to see a lot of moms with a lot of little kids.
And what I'm saying is, when mom is like, "Hey, I'm going to pick up the kids after soccer, and then we're going to go grab some Chick-fil-A," and all it takes is for him to say, "Bring them to Popeyes."
Why the hell would that be? I mean, that's not actually how women work, Tim. I mean, he's done multiple episodes on how guys can't get laid. Obviously not him. He's very clear that he has absolutely no trouble getting laid. But see, I'm thinking maybe if it turned out that actually the guys he's worried about who can't get laid might include himself, maybe just a little bit. Maybe this is kind of the reason that you can't get laid, Tim. Not because the dating apps are woke, but because you suck. Oh, okay, now I'm gonna have to check these modern Popeye comics up. Check them out.
But the one thing though,
I get
this
that, but
Chick-fil-A
that's not
is
enough.
If the mom- if the-
Oh shit, my camera has done its thing again. Asshole camera. Hang on.
incredibly efficient.
Look, if the mom doesn't care about the brand at all,
I'm guessing that she probably does, because she probably, you know, people tend to have preferences.
then the slightest nudge should knock her off.
No, but
shouldn't
the
it?
moms love the brand. That's what I'm saying. The moms absolutely love the Chick-fil-A brand.
But-
I cannot think of a brand the suburban moms love more than Chick-fil-A. At least in
But
the
for-
South.
for what-
Keep in mind, y'all don't have them up here yet, do you?
Not
We do-
really.
what do you mean? We have them all over the place. We get Chick-fil-A all the time.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
thing-
we,
I
we
grew up
order
with-
big.
Moonlord isn't getting a word in edgewise here.
Big things of
not
Chick-fil-A
around.
here. We're not going to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy.
Like, Moonlord has literally, every time he's opened his mouth, they've just interrupted him and the camera goes elsewhere.
from them.
I would agree with you if
Every mall's got it.
I would agree with
Oh,
you
yeah.
if the point was simply that, you know, people are only going to Chick-fil-A because of the more conservative values, the fact that they've been maligned by the left, but they have probably the most efficient drive-through system
Yes.
of any fast food chain. They get you in and they get you out no matter how long that line
Absolutely
is.
wrong.
Out.
Jesus, this is what they're going to argue about now. The efficiency of their drive-thrus. I've never actually seen a freestanding Chick-fil-A in my life. The only place I've ever seen them is food courts.
Oh, no, that is not wrong. You cannot. You absolutely.
This is
no,
what they're
I'm
going to
who's
fight
better?
over.
correct.
That's
Snopes
This is
fact
what
check.
they're going to fight over.
What you said was true. Snopes agrees with you. I'm correct about this.
Chick-fil-A's drive-through is overloaded.
So wait, there's a Snopes on the efficiency of Chick-fil-A's drive-thrus? What the why the this is a thing Snopes is bothering with now, apparently. The efficiency of Chick-fil-A drive-thrus.
What? Explain it.
If there's one drive-through restaurant that I've left, it's Chick-fil-A.
And that's
Are you
up here
serious?
locations?
This would in Jersey and down here.
Okay, in Jersey,
Okay.
yes. Here's the problem.
And
That's
and
what I'm talking
down
about.
here.
Okay,
And down here.
even here. So that's what I'm talking about in the South. Maybe y'all don't have enough homeschool kids here to run the Chick-fil-A's like we do.
what the fuck is in this homeschooling curriculum?
the South. But that is like jokingly, it is largely run by homeschool
Look, man,
kids.
if you think the moral fiber of the homeschool kids and conservatives are so weak they can't even.
What the moral fiber? You're talking about kids who've basically been shut out of any opportunity to hear any other fucking take on anything but the bullshit their parents believe in. That's not moral fiber. That's just never having actually heard an alternative.
Even push back on this, then so be it. Of all the
you're not going to have
companies-
me arguing the strong moral fiber of conservatives willing to stand up. I've been proud and impressed to see that with Bud Light, but
My God, this is what I mean. This is what their fucking movement is today. They just, somebody spins a wheel to decide what they're going to pretend to be pissed off at. It doesn't have to mean anything. It doesn't have to matter. One time it was that supposedly maybe one of the M&Ms was trans, and then another time they got pissed off because one of the M&Ms was a girl or something. This is like, and they get paid shitloads of money to just sit here and act like this stuff matters.
we have a history of conservatives of not standing up for anything.
I
Fighting
agree.
back. So that's I get it,
but also like about the drive-through thing. Yo,
They're
that's
so-
Oh, we got okay. So now he's just going to be talking about these fucking drive-thrus through the rest of the thing.
crazy. The lines take so long.
Yeah, at some point he's going to take that fucking sword off the wall because not the feminist in the room and Kendall going to be like, yeah, just going to insist that the fucking drive-thrus are great at Chick-fil-A, and he's going to be like, no, we have been told by the Manhattan Institute, which seems to be where they get their cues from. that we have to be pissed off about Chick-fil-A, so I will slay you with my fucking probably extremely dull samurai sword.
And I understand it's an issue of demand.
Yeah.
But I would say every time I've gone to Taco Bell,
It really was a quality distraction. And I have to think that they must have known. I'm not saying that they had some specific foreknowledge, like it was worked out in advance. I don't have any reason specifically to believe that. If somebody showed me evidence of it, it would not exactly shock me. It's just that this is what fucking the right-wing propaganda system does anymore.
I drive up, I order, when we live Mas.
I mean, they do stochastic terrorism, and they freak out over advertising.
We drive up, we wait a little bit, we order, we're gone. Starbucks, we wait a little bit, we drive up, we order, we're gone.
Well, that's because nobody wants you in those places.
Chick-fil-A, we sit in line, someone comes at the window, they take our order, we're sitting there, a half an hour later we get our food, and I'm like, there's 2 lanes.
See, if Chick-fil-A comes out tomorrow and says, fuck DEI, where that was a fucking April Fool's joke in June, he'll be like, Chick-fil-A has the best fucking drive-thrus, man. They know what you're gonna order before you even tell them.
To go through, there's an exit lane. It's insane. They've prioritized their drive-through to such a ridiculous degree. On more than one occasion, we've just been like, let's just leave, and then we've pulled out and left because it took too long.
Every time I've ever gone there, I've been extremely impressed with how quickly I got through the drive.
God, everybody. This is what they're gonna fight over.
Like, I've been to McDonald's or Taco Bell or Wendy's with a line that was a quarter of the length of Chick-fil-A lines I've been in. It took 5 times as long.
That's my experience.
It looks like
it would be different in the South. I promise you this.
That could.
This is like his entire fucking contribution to this thing is that he's from fucking Georgia.
But also but the thing is, when you're in the South, like, I'm sorry, I also have lived in Georgia for a number of years. Service is usually much slower there. But when I go to Chick-fil-A down there, it is like you are in and out.
Then go to the one here.
Yeah,
I may do that tomorrow. I'm
boycotting Chick-fil-A, Tim.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, yeah. I mean, look. They've hyped.
I mean, yeah. They are still talking about these fucking drive-thrus. It's like, the level of outrage that they managed to have over this bullshit. Oh shit, Bud Light has a rainbow on the beer can. The beer still sucks. They still give tons of money to far-right groups. Like, pretty much all the big shitty breweries in the US do, incidentally. Like, Coors is like, it is just the fash fundraising machine. But, they put a fucking, rainbow on it and they get pissed off. It's like, meanwhile, on our end of things, where it's like, people are having to actually flee large parts of the... they have, having to flee large parts of the country, watching, now apparently they're going to criminalize having bail funds in Georgia, since we're talking about fucking Georgia. There is already, incidentally, for anyone who's wondering how to donate, I was trying to find the name of it. There is an alternative bail fund already up and running to take care of the Stop Cop City protesters while they sort out this bullshit charge on that. Oh, I see. I like to smash my head against a wall. This is my happy place. Yelling at these assholes in absentia. I actually, I've had nights in recent history too, where I'm feeling really shitty, and it's like, okay, do I really want to go on tonight? I kind of just want to curl up and, read Chinese science fiction and, snack on fucking, I don't know. I don't even know what I guess marraquetas or some shit. Because I just don't feel like it. And I go on, and then I get these assholes, and I get to just sort of point out how much they suck. And to an audience who somehow has decided that this is the thing that they want to spend their time with, apparently. Which, I will say, thank you. I'm glad that you too it mystifies me as much as it but there's something cathartic about the experience of just talking about how full of shit these assholes are.
Hired a DEI. This is more than just a promotional campaign.
If it were more than just a promotional campaign, you'd have pointed to something that it was other than a promotional campaign that you got bored reading. And so you just scrolled through the whole thing.
This is outright saying from the top down, they have put a cult, non-theistic religious office in their business.
A cult, non-theistic religious office.
Yeah.
And it's worse than the Chinese.
Like, I mean, he's never actually, I mean, this is very PragerU too. He's not actually explained how any of this fucking has anything to do with a simulacrum of religion. He probably doesn't know what a simulacrum is. I'm kind of amazed that he pronounced it correctly, to be quite honest. But now we're just sort of taking it as read that this is now it's a non-theistic religious cult.
Communist Party. The Chinese Communist Party.
Doofus, doofy, doofo, doofus, doofy, dooforum. There we go. I mean, assuming it's Latin, assuming we're going by Latin rules, I think that would be. Yeah, clip that. That'll be. Shit. Maybe. That would be a fun Mad Fold-In to work out.
As a government agency, puts Communist Party offices in businesses in China.
So what you're saying is, if this were a government agency, then it would be similar to having a government agency have an office in your company. If they say, what he's saying is, if these things were alike, they would be a hella similar.
But it is an element of government. This is a cult that is putting its tendrils in everything.
Shit, it's a cult with tendrils. Like, okay, tell us about the cult, Tim. You're the one who just decided to come up with this shit. Tell us about the cult. What makes you think it's a cult?
And the story that the media is running is that the right is angry over, like, equality or something like that.
Which is literally what you've spent, like, 9 minutes and 58 seconds of this video literally being angry about. And not just this video, it is like, one of the main things. It's why that motherfucker decided to shoot up the wrong beer.
They're lying, of course.
But you are pissed off about equality.
Making up lies. The reality is non-theistic, this is a beer. Non-theistic religion is now putting itself in all of our businesses.
It's putting itself in all. It's not. The businesses have no agency here. The capitalists with all their money, they have no agency. They just can't help but have the tendrils of this cult. He hasn't explained why it's a cult, but obviously between right-wingers being pissed off about equal rights and employment non-discrimination being a non-theistic religious cult conspiracy. I mean, obviously you gotta go with employment non-discrimination being a non-theistic religious cult conspiracy. I mean, that's just Occam's razor, really. I mean, but still.
And then forcing those businesses to
cult tenders. Well, I think we should ask.
Destroy themselves. Unless, like, we're at the point now where it may be the moral fiber of the average American, if you're right, is so pathetic that we're doomed.
Well, maybe it's just that most people don't believe your shit.
Well, I think part of what's really disturbing about the Chick-Fil-A situation is...
Yes, let's hear what's disturbing, Mr. Sick Sexual Agenda.
Is that usually with this DEI stuff, when it's implemented, my understanding is it's because people think that that will make their business more attractive to venture capital or shareholders, but Chick-fil-A isn't even a publicly traded company.
Well, maybe they're considering changing that.
I have no idea where the demand was.
Unless they have some kind of plans for.
Well, probably the demand was that they have gotten huge amounts of bad press for the fact that they spend a huge amount of money supporting homophobic organizations and transphobic organizations, and they want to try to reverse some of that bad press, and the best thing they could possibly do is have the guy, these people are clearly plugged into the fucking right-wing propaganda sphere if they're donating to it, right? I mean, if I were Chick-fil-A and I wanted to sort of change the narrative and maybe get, like, people who aren't massive fucking chuds coming back to the store so that because you can't, that is, actually a minority of the population think like these guys, to the extent that you can call it thinking. Well, one thing you could do is set up an office in your company with one of the biggest fucking right-wing, like, the buzzwords of the past year. I mean, there's so many videos of these chuds talking about, DEI is evil, it's a cult, all this bullshit. Well, but, I mean, if I were Chick-fil-A, that's what I'd do, and they would it'd be like, look, we're the people that that Tim Pool's pissed off about. We must be on the right side of history now, surely. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this is a little bit like the whole thing with the fucking girl M&M that the right-wingers got all pissed off about for absolutely no fucking reason. Right around the time that Hershey's and Mars company had to change the news cycle, move the discussion away from the fact that they use child slavery
For venture capital
expansion,
etc. But that's part of what we're,
once again, he hasn't said a word. They just keep on showing these like National Geographic photos of him scratching his face.
Talking about the lack of courage or sticking through that's part of a large part of why we created Conservative Dad's Ultra Right Beer, and it was to
Conservative Dad's Ultra Right Beer. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if some company has some really big scandal around racism or transphobia or something like that, or there's some other horrible shit that is going to come out in the news cycle about them and they can't stop it. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. If some company does, like fucking Monsanto or Raytheon will be like, look, this is our chief wokeness officer. I bet this isn't going to do anything to piss off the fucking, the chud industrial complex here.
To encourage people to...
Oh, fucking camera, not again. There we go.
To make a stand and stick through that stand, and beer happens to be the catalyst. And one thing...
that's not what a catalyst is.
I was talking with Scott Pressler about is we're going to use this as a catalyst we're going to actually have on the cans like a QR code where you can scan it to register to vote.
Wait, they've been trying to make it impossible. They're going to try to, what? They're going to make it possible to register to vote with a QR code on a fucking beer can?
Because we have tons of rural conservative individuals that drink a lot of beer but don't vote. And so we're going to use this as a catalyst.
Oh, well, what a diversity officer would do at a military contractor is go on television every once in a while and go to, like, college job fairs to try to make make Raytheon look like they aren't a bunch of horrible ghouls. I mean, basically. It's the same reason that ICE will tweet some shit about Happy Pride or something like that. Like,
to get those people to do that.
That is brilliant.
Tell them to vote responsibly.
Jesus. Oh, he got to say a sentence. That's like, he got a whole sentence, Moonlord did.
Well, I think if they're drinking conservative dad's ultra-right beer, there's a good chance they're going to vote okay.
Well, yeah, because if there's one thing that alcohol has never been shown to do, it's affect your judgment or your coordination adversely.
Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL pop.
Oh, well, that was Tim Pool. That was impressive. That the 6 section Raytheon with a W. I love this. I wonder what fucking percentage, what ABV fucking dad's ultra right beer even is. Okay, we're gonna start.